all featuring Denmark. Now, this is not a history or a documentary, so we put that very first, so these wayward fellers that come in here and say, "You ain't telling the story right." Well, yeah, that's exactly by design. We're looking at pitches, folks. Looking at pitches and holding them up to what we know about the world and basically marveling in awe at our forebears who just were so much more talented than us, apparently. And so the only part of history I'm really touching on here in this little brief overview is the part that will possibly give us clues as to where and how and the why these buildings came from. So the Danes were the Vikings, essentially. Explorers of the oceans, founders of trade, creators of arts and crafts, and warriors of their time. We are told that Viking settlements in Denmark during the pre-Christian era were built as a community hub, a dwelling house and a longhouse and stables and banquet rooms, and they cooked and ate and slept and story told and crafted and carved wood and wove wool and made tools and cared for animals and things like that. And many of those things required structures, and so the layouts of these early community hubs are where they got their very first taste of urban planning. Now we're told around 965 AC, the ruler of the time, the fabulous futuristically named King Harold Bluetooth, announced that the Danes were now Christian and erected a rune stone with symbolic carvings on them. They look really actually Aztec to me, but regardless, they shifted from polytheistic religion to monotheistic religion, and of course this comes with the architectural entrapments that every religion requires. So now we get wooden churches, and of course the first few burnt down, and they graduate to limestone churches. And this is the story that we're told how eventually while they favored simplicity over grandiosity, they essentially peaked in the Renaissance era. They decided to ditch simplicity and they joined right in and had some amazing castles built, allegedly. They had a pretty rough series of wars back and forth with Sweden and other places in the 1800s and kind of pulled out of it in the golden age of Danish culture, so we're told, which was an awakened Danish nationalism, and in 1905 they really hit their architectural peak. Odd, just about the time as, well, a lot of places, really. And that's where we are. Now, we're told they favored brick, and at that point will become exceedingly obvious. Overwhelmingly obvious. So let's jump in and see. This is just to give you an idea of what to expect here. I don't dive into the narratives on this particular series. I don't dive into the narratives behind the buildings. We just look. These are gathered by me poring over our control hydra and what we believe the points of interest to be based on that. And so we look at government buildings and schools and libraries and post offices, and we look at fire stations and concert venues and theaters and insurance buildings and banks. We look at religious buildings, temples, mosques, churches, presidential palaces, and government buildings of that status. And we'll look at if they've got a historic registry, we'll look at those. And I try not to do duplicates, so I try to just take a photo or two of each, and it's always staggering how many there are, and Denmark was no exception. I mean, every time I turned around the corner, there's a new pocket of amazing buildings, and they share the similarities with everywhere else, and it's just just data points. There's one particular feature that they have in abundance that I did not expect, and it's pretty cool. It's not like a rare thing, but it's rare to have so many of them, I think. So let's get right into it, my dearly beloveds. Those dapper fellows that used to look like this back in the day. Look at these dandy chaps. You there? You talking to him or me? There's a fun fact that you may not know, or maybe you do. I mentioned that Harold Bluetooth is fabulously named, futuristically named, but actually the truth is that Bluetooth is actually named after this man of lore. As you can see, the Bluetooth symbol here is actually just a combination of the two runes. Harold Bluetooth. How about that, eh? So, like Lord Sandwich, you got this old person of thousands of years ago whose name is still relevant today. And it's because when they were coming up with sort of a code name for this project, it was because he united Norway and Sweden and at one point. And so his network is sort of the way that they were sort of playing around, but then the name just stuck. Bluetooth and Lego and many other things we inherit from the Danes. I mean, that's just a side note. I found that interesting. Just a reminder, folks, this video is going to be very low on information and high on visuals. But this here's a cathedral, the usual double tower variety. And what you'll find here in Denmark is no surprise, the same thing you find everywhere on Earth. Look at this amazing. This is a view of a church from the bishop's house, we're told. And look at that, how incredible. The brickwork here is absolutely fantastic. Definitely got an overabundance of it. This is another church, I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you what little I know. Like I said, this is not a deep dive for now into buildings, the origins, the builder, none of that. We're just looking at the pictures and marveling at the sheer, I guess, amount of them. The sheer amount of these buildings is incredible. Like I said, like I mentioned, I try not to duplicate. If I do, it's on accident. But just the usual massive pointed Gothic doors here, and it's amazing. Now, it was shocking to me is that there are so few people in Denmark compared to, say, America. You always picture these places as having roughly, a large population, but I think there's less than 6 million people that live there, which is less than the metropolitan area that I live in, which is kind of insane. And this is like, 10th largest in the country, maybe? So it's just, it's really wild how many of these buildings are packed into such a small space. Now, I believe that this is I could be wrong, but the unique feature I mentioned earlier that Denmark has an abundance of, which was odd to me, is water towers. There are so many buildings that are labeled old water towers. It's incredible. I've never seen this anywhere else. Very unique. And I believe this is one of them. It's a different church here. This one looking more modern, except for the facade of the front. Very classic indeed. And perhaps it is old and just been sort of refaced. It's hard to say, really, isn't it? And this is an Islamic mission with this really incredible detail work that usually you see in places like Iran or Afghanistan. And I'm not sure if these are tiles or kind of looks like it. Yeah, looks like these are tiles. This is an amazing tower here in Copenhagen. Copenhagen being the series of suffering several great fires, as we all know how prominent those are. And that is just an incredible tower. I believe this is one of their claims to fame in a way. The buildings they're very proud of. The size of that tower. Look at this bad boy. Beautiful dome there. Looking very, very gorgeous as ever. Here's a water tower in Bramming. And this is what I mean. They've got so many of these. It's very unique to the area. I've never seen a place with more. And just the amount of bricks it would take from my lands to make these things. Just incredible. You wonder where the hell the brickyards were. So many bricks. Almost everything in this entire country. They're made of brick or half timber, it seems. Here's your usual equestrian statue. This was Frederick V. Always a signature piece here. Little lantern. Belongs to some building. Classic style, bro. Classic style. The other style of building that they seem to favor is the half timber houses, which have a very unique look. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's sort of the framing sort of on the outside. I'll show you when we get to one. This is another water tower here, octagonal one. And I don't know if there are just as many towers in other nations that we call them something else, or if it's just a unique thing to Denmark. Yeah, I'm not sure, but certainly I've never come across this many before. This is an abbey here. Very incredible. And soon you'll get building fatigue, as I do, because there's just so many of them. It's really unbelievable. There's a gorgeous fountain here outside, obviously, in the middle of this courtyard. These lions, these are part of their symbolism, the lions. They show up on the sides of thrones and things like that. At one point, there was a king that had a throne that he claimed was carved made entirely out of a unicorn horn. I think later it was determined that it was actually narwhal horn. But, either way. Same kind of thing. There's this strange ghoul on the top. Weird gargoyle thing. Can't say I like that. And there, the Danish flag, the oldest flag still in existence. They claim it fell down from the heavens and during a battle or something around 1216. And it's been the same flag ever since, continuously. This is a theater, if you couldn't tell. And I guess, yeah, that would make sense that there's a devil on the top, along with these spooky guys. Oh, like they've seen a ghost. Hate to break it to you guys, but you are the ghosts. This is the inside of that theater. Just owl or eagle? That one looks like an owl because of the wings. Yeah, looks like an owl over here too. Very beautiful, though. Beautiful detailing. You gotta like that very much. And very much I do like that. There's the interior of that theater, which I thought was just gorgeous. Here is a botanical gardens, much like the Crystal Palace, really, in its old world splendor. Absolutely stunning. These buildings are. Never gets old. Not a glass. It's just amazing. This is inside Christiansborg Palace in Copenhagen. It's very ornate armoire. And this is also inside of that palace. I'm just showing some of the opulence that they have. One of the world's, I think it's the world's longest reigning monarchy currently in Denmark, even though right now it's a little bit more symbolic than anything else, but still, there's the famous lions, and this is inside that same palace, obviously, with just incredible detail. There, little outside looking in, this is another water tower. This one's been a little gayed up, or I guess it's supposed to signify a rainbow and water. Either way, maybe it belongs to a kindergarten. Hell, I don't know. This is in Carlsberg, this incredible building. Jeez, the little wreath of eternity. Always the hints, always the clues they're trying to tell us about. Everywhere, one empire. These just have the same symbolism as everywhere else. So why would I be dispelled of the notion that at one point we were all united, when everywhere I go I see the same symbolism and the same buildings and the same structure and style and the same absolutely stunning beauty. My God, look at that thing. That is just absolutely incredible. This is a church, we are told, and doesn't get much more beautiful than that. Jesus, imagine building this. Just incredible. How proud you'd be. And this is a look at a museum, and of course that's a downgrade from this sort of thing, but it's important that we note that the museums and the bookstores and the post office, they all follow the same code everywhere you go. They appear to be old, historical, repurposed buildings everywhere you go. This is a school of some sort. I'll tell you that much. Look at the brickwork around that window. That pattern. Just so cool. Master masons everywhere. Must have been millions of them. Little waterspout detail there. The old mariners, of course. Denmark being... well, all of Scandinavia really having access to much lumber and coastline became master shipbuilders, which led to their Viking excursions, which I'm told Viking is a verb. And there's your little usual stuff going on here. No surprises other than the sheer abundance of buildings here. Here's an old photo from 1890, perhaps. This is an old photo of maybe the 1910s. It looks to be. I know, I guess it'd be the 1890s because I don't see any automobiles. Maybe one or two, so, somewhere around there. But this is Copenhagen, which was of course quickly rebuilt after some of the fires. This is Frederiksborg Castle, a view from the same era. And these photos here, these come from the Library of Congress. They've got this whole series of these, I don't know what they call them, but they kind of colorized or etched over, I guess. I don't know how they do it, but it makes it look very stylized. And this is a picture of the Exchange Hall. Yeah, that twisted, amazing. And I believe this actually burnt in the past few years, actually caught fire and burnt. I remember the spire, people watching it, flames creep up it. It was rather horrifying. This is a museum here in Copenhagen, at least at the time. And you'll note here, you've got the same little 4 horses pulling the angel thing you see in Belgium. Horse-drawn trolleys. Yeah, right. And the Royal Theatre in Copenhagen as well. Look how empty these streets are. Like, where'd you even find the manpower to build this sort of thing when your streets look like this? It almost defies logic. Like much of the old world. Literally defies logic. This is the Savior Church. Look at that thing. Looks like the Tower of Babel. I mean, the size of that orb on the top. How'd you even get that up there with that statue? I mean, look at the size of the people here. It's like, how? How would you even get that up there? What force can lift that up there? What cranes are you putting to do that? It doesn't make sense. I don't know how you did it, guys. What, 100 people lost their lives raising that one orb? For what purpose? Just for decorative reasons? I doubt it. This is the Hermitage, Klampenborg, in Copenhagen as well. Look at the windows here. Rather telling, aren't they? And this is also in Copenhagen, one of the market squares. The detailing on just this street lamp. Pelicans or storks. What a beautiful place. And if that's a crowded market, I'll take that every day. The Tivoli Park entrance in Copenhagen. These old pictures. Here's a beautiful lighthouse. Although, terrible picture. Look at this one. This looks like an owl. Yeah. See the eyes here? With the star, the whimsical, misappropriated, oft-used star all over the place. And this is I'm not sure what this building is actually, but it sure is pretty. Man, look at the size. Just the size of it alone. It's a 5-6-story building. What is this little thing up front here? It's just interesting. Very interesting style, all this stuff. This is a theater. Another theater on the street here. Aalborg. And this photograph is from 1888. Denmark, they're calling it here on the side. Maybe that's the local spelling. This is that same theater. I guess they have a very owl theme. It's like that thing from Alice in Wonderland. The one side makes you smaller. The other makes you taller. Ah, so they are eagles. I was wrong. I shouldn't have been surprised, though. You got a thing for birds here. It's like storks, eagles, and owls. That's mine. Look at this one over here, this cheering angel. That was a little flashback to that same old theater. Look at the size of that roof. What an incredible building. Very nice. And this is actually underneath one of the palaces. We're told that there are tunnels and there are ruins underneath of a pre-existing tower or castle, which you can see here. It looks like the stones have been completely eroded. Now, I don't know if this is some sort of meltage or I don't know if this is just water. It looks to me like just water. Years of water. Wearing that stuff down. Beautiful old windmill. I thought that was pretty cool, even though it looks a little more modern. This is inside the opulent Christianborg Palace again. I don't know what this room is for, but my lands, is that beautiful. This is a Alhambra Entertainment Center, which has been demolished. This beautiful old world fantasy funhouse. I don't know why anyone would demolish that. It looks like Coney Island. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. And this is that same church that we saw, but this is a little bit further back, so you can see the symmetry of the equestrian statue and the fountain and all these themes that seem to play a central role in this. The urns around here and same kind of layout we see everywhere. And here's this from the other angle, looking outward away. Lots of symmetry in this here town. town square, isn't there? Little surprise, lots of symmetry. This is a palace in Copenhagen. It is quite wonderful. Looks like it's sheathed in limestone. Incredible looking building. And this is the embassy of France side Copenhagen. There's a number of embassies here. This has got the lower windows. You'll see them here stretched out all over. This is a temple in Fredericksburg, I believe. Interesting that they've got the bull up top here. Looks like an old Greek thing, but I don't know if I like this. If it's just by coincidence. These look like skulls to me, like skulls of bats. I don't know, kind of a creepy thing. I mean, I know the old Norse gods would sometimes do animal sacrifice, sometimes human sacrifice, even though, it was a long time ago. Rumored, allegedly. The symbolism here that we see everywhere. Not too surprising. And I believe this is an old asylum, just like we had in America. And look at this bad boy. My lands. That copper temple top, these submerged windows, the sheer copious amount of brick. All of these are data points noteworthy of your consideration. This is a railway station, unnecessarily tall by my standards. What is the point of making a railway station so tall? And just the aesthetics of the echo, the click-clack of you stroll through the floor. These trains aren't, they're lower than the ground, so I don't get it. I don't get it at all. This is a photograph from 1888 of something. I think it's actually a mill, like a factory, and of course the ever-present obelisk reminding us who's in control. It's not us. I believe this is a library. Interesting symbol on the top there, isn't it? Yes, it certainly is. But are we surprised? No. This is inside that botanical garden. What a cool staircase, man. I love that stuff. And this one is very odd simply because of the door down here and the entrances down here. That just seems like it renders this obsolete. Like at one point, they created this entrance. I don't know, but looking a little flooded out, if you ask me. This photograph is from 1900. And I believe that there's actually this is archipelago, I believe. There's 400 islands that exist that are technically part of Denmark, which is pretty cool. So they are pretty familiar with the water, as long as the Faroe Islands and, of course, Greenland, of which there's very little to be found in the way of buildings on Greenland. And another water tower here looking super majestic. I mean, look at the size of these water towers. They're absolutely incredible. This is another strange entrance here. There's a very worn brick facade here. And this is a school of sorts. See more of these windows than I know how to comprehend. Little cafe bar. Just thought the entrance was interesting. Looks like every downtown everywhere. This is a little close-up look at that trade hall that is pretty sure no longer with us unless they've rebuilt it. Almost looks like alligators climbing down here. What is that? Dragons? Kind of ghoulish. And actually, look at the submerged nature of this place. I didn't notice that in early pictures. Definitely looks like it's been submerged. So yeah, no surprises here in Denmark. No surprises. Look at the beautiful this is inside of a theater. Man, that is just fantastic. Who's responsible for all this stuff? Just incredible to think that they just accredit this just a few architects. There's no way. Such a small populated place. I just find it very hard to believe. Unless everyone that lived there ever is a master mason. But then what about all the fishermen? What about... This is great. They're playing little war games here on the floor with little soldiers in this library. Didn't notice that. It's pretty incredible. This is inside Christiansborg also. My lord, look at that freaking thing. Imagine living here. I would feel silly. I would feel very, very silly. But I guess I'm not a king, so nor would I want to be. The opulence is rather amazing. And Denmark is allegedly the happiest place to live in the world. The people are allegedly the happiest, although they're part of the European Union, so I don't know how long that can last, because eventually that Reaper's going to come to call. Just hold it up here as a reminder. Hey guys, it's all about this. Check it out. Look at what we're doing. Do what we're doing. And we're like, blah, 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 blah. We don't get it. Little mud flutter out here. Look at this bad boy. Who builds like this? No one ever. Okay, yeah, this one looks sort of painted. I don't know if this is painted or not, but this is what I mean by a half timber house. Where they've got the framing sort of on the outside as aesthetically pleasing. There's another amazing water tower. There'll be more of those though. There'll be plenty more where those came from. I mean, look at these damn brick yards. It's amazing. This must have something to do with a fort or military, because I see the cannons, the obligatory cannons out front. An art gallery from the looks of things, also submerged and rather stripped of ornamentation would be my gander. And this is a pavilion, sadly blurry, and we've got more of this red and white striped theme that we see everywhere. It's relevant. This is kind of interesting. This one's got this foundation made of this rough quartz stone, looks like. Then we just went brick on top, patched it right up, dude. Just freaking patched it right up. I don't know how many of these obelisks there are, but apparently there are aplenty. Whatever their purpose, we speculated on that in the past. We've come to no reasonable explanation. Though a lot of good theories. Odd that they are literally everywhere. Everywhere in the world, no matter where you go. This is the city hall in one of the cities. Odense, I think that maybe you pronounce it as. I don't know. But look at them windows. It's like a castle, man. It's incredible. And it makes sense, I guess, when you got a country that's 2,000 years old. What doesn't make sense is when they're one that's in like a town, like 500 years old. Not even 200 years old. Odd way to build. You know what I'm saying? Over and over again, everywhere you go. This has been destroyed, I'm told. Whatever it was. This picture's from 1945, but it was destroyed. I'm sorry, this picture's not from 1945. It was destroyed in 1945. So I don't know if the Germans did it or what. This is another amazing blurry water tower. Look at the size of that thing, though. Water towers everywhere. Pretty incredible. I mean, why the massive size of them. I don't understand why they were necessary. If no other country really had them. That's a bad picture too. Look at the size of these. So many of these. Water tower. It's incredible. Look at the detail in this one. And you got the red and white motif. I point out, I know it's not like a broken record pointing out the same things over and over again, but that's what we observe, folks. We are just victims to what we observe. That's an amazing looking structure. Like a peat roof. Wow, how cool is that? And this house is also very interesting. With the side here being... I've never seen that before. And also the subterranean sort of entrance. I thought this was a very, very interesting house when I was looking at them. And this is the dump by the prison. I can't remember why I put this here. Oh yeah, that's right, because this is Greenland. And this is in Greenland. And this is a dump. Apparently there's a prison over here. And this is a hike that you can do. And it starts out lovely by this here dump. So that's what we use Greenland for. This is allegedly the old dungeon master's house, which that is fitting. I mean, it's fitting that it's gray. It almost looks like a slice at a time compared to the colorful buildings in the background. Another water tower. I mean, we got windows inside these water towers. People live in them or what? This is the Albanian embassy in Copenhagen. Pretty nice of them to save these. I mean, how many ambassadors are there? Got what? 20 windows in these places. Seems like how many people work at these freaking governments? This is the embassy of Chile in Copenhagen, which again, how many freaking windows, how many Chilean ambassadors are there to Denmark? It's crazy. This is the embassy of the Ivory Coast. And it's nice that they give them all beautiful buildings, but it makes no sense. This is the embassy of Mexico. So Mexico gets this building dedicated to their ambassadors. Unbelievable. How do I get to be an ambassador? I just get to post up in Copenhagen. I mean, how much work could they possibly be doing? How much liaison is there between Mexico and Denmark? I don't know, man. Or Nepal in Copenhagen. In Nepal and Denmark, which this is the Nepalese embassy. It's just incredible. These governments, man, they got some games. This is Nicaragua's embassy. How many freaking ambassadors from Nicaragua are to Denmark? Are there that many ambassadors to every country? Like, it's like 50 ambassadors for every country to every country? That's a big ass payroll. Slovenia, I understand Europe, they have much more closer ties. Slovenia's embassy here in Copenhagen. But man, it's just shocking to me. It's something I never really considered. Look at all those owls in the roof of that building. I wonder if those are the kind that like chase pigeons away, or is that just because they like owls? Owls are super cool in real life, but symbolically they're creepy, if you know what I'm saying. And this looks like a train station. I'm just saying that. I have no idea. Look at the size of this thing. I mean, it's definitely an unnecessary train station, but it's such a gorgeous building. It's incredible. And I like the fact that there's like, one ladder here leading up here? For what? Are they trying to claim that this is being built? Like, why is there a ladder just going up to the one window when there's perfectly good doors? There's a guy with a wheelbarrow down here, and the street looks like in mud. What a strange picture. Like, what is this supposed to depict? Oh, we're building it with a ladder and a wheelbarrow? How'd you get the bricks here? Where the brick, this is just, whatever's the point of this picture, it seems contrived. Very contrived by my guesstimation. Another massive, mysterious house. This is the former state palace in Fredericksburg, and I question what is underneath these hills. Like, that is a rather sharply defined hill there. Certainly there's no structure under there, is there? No, couldn't be, This is a former town hall they've upgraded. Again, you've got subterranean compartments, which make no sense. Really don't. Frederick's something. And that's one casual street side observer. Letting it all hang out. This is a hospital. Man, if you were a foreigner looking for a hospital, I think you'd run right past this place and have no clue. Look at those little windows there, too. Everything here mud flooded out, it looks like. This is a gorgeous fountain, I'll add, in Fredericksburg. And what a gorgeous place. Really. Just absolutely beautiful. All these old Greek dudes just partying, drinking from the fountain. Pretty dope. And symbolism literally everywhere in the form of this stuff. And I wonder if you live here, if you even bat an eye, or if this is just blends into the background. You're just so used to it. Is it a bank here? At least on the bottom floor. I don't know. I don't know if I'd ever get used to it. I'd be poking around everywhere and just wondering, like, you guys aren't seeing this stuff? Like, how does this make sense? How is there like a historic building for each person that lives here? Every 10 people it feels like there's a castle. And it's very odd. This is a commune, however you pronounce them there. There's no shortage to it. Some of these buildings, you could pick them up and put them anywhere in the world and they would fit right in. Some of them not so much, but many of them, yeah, it's true. There's another water tower, I believe. If not, I don't know what that is, but that is a strange choice of color. Mustard yellow, please. That's how I want to make it. Mustard yellow. Won't match anything. I think this is another embassy based on the flag that's flying out front. But what a gorgeous building. Look at the entrance to that thing. So cool. Where comes this material to make this stuff? This is 1899, this pavilion. Looking like it definitely holds some power, some weird enchantment. As this fellow will tell you, the top hat and the cane. Bop, bop. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Step right up and see the mystery. Don't mind if I do. Another massive water tower. And another massive water tower, of which I am perpetually confused. What is the point of these? I understand what a water tower does, and that creates the pressure for the town usually, but never seen so many and so large with so many windows and just constructed like that. Just bizarre. And this one's interesting too. Here, the entrance that you either go down or you just go up these weird stairs here, showing a hidden history of which we'll never know. This guy's got a funny face. The eyes and the mouth. He's like, this is a little helmet. Got like an ant helmet. Great God Neptune here. Outside the administration building. Boosh. What is this? Incredible. Again, submerged, odd, old world, same as everywhere we've ever seen. Man, sorry, some of these are blurry. I'm not sure why that is. I did a bad job when I was collecting these. And if I react to some of these with surprise, it's because I collected a lot of these long ago. So it's been a long time since I've looked through these. At the bottoms here, these little windows. No one builds like that except for, oh yeah, everyone everywhere. We're supposed to believe, but I don't. Obviously, Tim O'Brien, the foundation has changed somehow. And there's so many weird stories to try to cover it. You know, actually, it's funny. If you go look in the news, they no longer refer to mud floods as mud floods. Now they're debris flows, or what are they called? They're called something debris. It's like, oh, okay, not a mud flood. No, a debris flow. Got it. And it's strange that they are careful on that word. So you have to be over the target when they're changing words like this. So why would they care? Why would that be a trigger word? Unless they know something, or somebody knows something and is passing down orders. Like, look at the submerged windows here in this arch. Like, no way it was originally like that. No way. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here. Chances are, if you're watching this, this channel's never really found by anyone outside of people who are already kind of suspicious, but in the off chance that you're not, I'm just throwing it out there, just to be repetitive. This is outside the theater. Wow, it's a kind of a terrifying phoenix look there. He looks definitely burnt, rising from the ashes, rising from the flames. A hotel here, if you couldn't tell. Oh. A little submerged restaurant down there. No sign of a brickyard anywhere. And this is that same hotel years ago. See, it's buried then as well. Actually, it looks like there's no access to it, doesn't it? Kind of. It's hard to say. It looks pretty much the same. Except they removed those beautiful poles here. Stupid. Why would they do that to us? This is a hotel, and this is a hotel as well, with incredible ornamentation. And here we have a citadel. I believe this is probably remnant of a Stafford, if I could, just based on the walls here. Ridge. It's just my guess. I don't know. I'd have to see a better picture of it. Another amazing water tower looking like a space item. And another one. The size of these freaking things. It's just incredible. Never seen so many. There's a modern mosque there. And the 1924, this is the Institute of Jean d'Arc. This is the Iron Foundry exhibit at the Great Nordic Industrial, Agricultural, and Art Exhibition in 1828. That's right. They had their own version of a World's Fair here. And whatever all that is, those iron plates, looks very technical to me. Unless it's just showcasing off. It's electric, though. Fantastic presentation, whatever the hell it is. And I didn't even know they had a World Fair. Even though they didn't call it that, obviously. They call it the Great Nordic Industrial, Agricultural, and Art Exhibition. There's a lovely old bridge here. And brick and submersion everywhere you go. Across the whole land. Quite incredible. This is a museum. And just look at the entrance there. It's just stunning. Stunning how. And the brick road here. Look at the brick road all janky. Beautiful stuff here. This is a different church. I like a rough count on how many bricks it would take to build one of these. What, 10,000? Maybe more? Talking millions and billions of bricks across this place. I would just like to see the tricky. And I've read books on brick making, and it ain't so easy. I mean, once you get it down, sure, but it requires, special materials and time and space, and I just don't ever see that anywhere demonstrated anywhere. Like 1 brickyard per land. Are you shipping them by boat? I doubt it. And this is another amazing equestrian statue we see here. Unbelievable. And this will go on for hours and hours. So go on for definitely another volume or two. But as usual, I kind of get building fatigue. They get overwhelmed. I don't know what to say anymore. It's too much grandeur. It's too incredible. And so I usually have to cut these short, which I'm about to do here. Look at that castle thing. It's amazing. I think it's actually a library. I know it says library, but I don't know. Maybe I can't tell. Whatever it is, it's beautiful. Okay, let's leave it there. It's just frickin' beautiful. It's old world bandstands and water towers galore. Never seen anything like it. I don't think this is inside the water tower. I think this is actually inside one of the lighthouses. The beautiful golden ratio. Here's a map of the Great Fire. Stuck this in here. Everywhere that's red in Copenhagen was destroyed. That's how you know we built it, because it was quickly rebuilt. Look at this little deformed star fort here. Middle of this. Inside of this, of course, massive. The whole city, Copenhagen, is one massive star fort. You can tell. But there's also a miniature one, like obviously this one here. Hey, where'd my cursor go? Used to be Peppermint Butler. Why is it just a regular arrow? That's better. And this is a photograph from 1897, allegedly showing the construction of this here building. And this is the lone builder. His name is Niels Borg. And there it is after he's done. Behold, look at what he did. Amazing. It looks exactly like the construction photo. Everything's already done. Wow, incredible. What a guy, dude. This is another angle of that same place. What a guy. Good old Niels Borg. He built this whole entire thing in 1897. This is 1904. And then, oh no, it's on fire. Look at that. It's completely on fire. I mean, it looks like it's being literally blown up. It doesn't look like it's on fire at all. Like, where's the fire? There's no smoke. It's just dust from it being blown up. Look at the rubble all around it. So I don't buy it. And here it is again. This one looks actually more like a fire. It's amazing. They catch these photographs like this where it's like pretty clear. And then there'll be other ones where like a horse is blurry and it's like, well, that's because they had to keep the frame open forever. It's like, well, then explain that. Why is part of this crystal clear? Clearly moving, unless you're saying this is balanced still and the rest of this is falling. Like, no. This photography always looks so fake to me. Camera tricks. I don't know about this one. I don't know how you catch this part just happening to fall. You got no other pictures. I mean, would you be standing that close if that thing is about to fall on you? Hell no. But, whatever. Who knows? Now you know. That's how you know we built it. We did it. Another water tower here. And this is a military observation balloon. Was very interesting. Looks like it's made of canvas. I don't know. I can't tell what the heck's going on there. Thought it was kind of fun. And a beautiful colonnade here. Amalienborg. Look at Peppermint Butler's just one in the crowd. Let's go over here, guys. Hanging out with my bros on a Saturday. And I'm gonna cut this one short, but I mean, there's so much more to see that I will be back. Wow, look at the grandeur of that thing and the lions out front and everything. What a gorgeous place. And I'm not trying to knock anybody who's catching the wrong vibes off this. I'm not trying to knock Danes as if you couldn't. It's just there's so much of this stuff and the same symbolism everywhere, all erected at the same time around the world, that makes me suspicious that we weren't all part of a larger, more connected community at one point. And they've just divided us every way they possibly could and flushed our history with lies and told us that we all hated each other and did horrible things to each other. And then they forced us into education and took us away from our elders and took over the narrative completely. And we're just kind of recovering from it. This is just my own theory. But I'm not alone in that. And everything like this that exists and every piece of the puzzle is a data point that I'm happy to scour the world and showcase it to anyone with an open mind. But regardless, if you don't believe me or you don't sign on with what I'm saying, at least we can enjoy the beauty. I guess you can always mute the sound of my voice and just enjoy the beautiful imagery that somebody built somewhere. And whoever they are, hats off to them. I have 3 hats right now on, and I took all of them off and tipped them. I wish you could see me right now. It looks ridiculous. But I'll see you folks with more Denmark. Ooh.